Welcome to the Audiobook Insights channel. In this video, we will talk about the insights in the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by author John Gray. This book will give you a practical guide for improving communication and getting what you want in your relationships. Few books have made such a splash in popular culture as Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. This relationship guide, centered around the metaphorical concept of extraterrestrials from different planets falling in love, struck a chord with many for its insightful exploration of gender differences and communication. Notably, it was the highest-ranked work of nonfiction of the 1990s, resonating with millions for its accessible approach to solving common relationship issues through better understanding and communication. In many ways, perceptions of relationships have changed since its publication. Society has increasingly moved towards a greater recognition of the fluidity of gender roles and a deeper understanding of individual differences that transcend gender. This evolution prompts a pertinent question: are the psychologies of men and women really that dissimilar as once thought? Relationship counselor John Gray, the author of the book, believes they are. He posits that while men and women share many psychological traits, there are intrinsic differences in how they communicate and what they prioritize emotionally. However, Gray also argues that acknowledging these differences can significantly enhance relationship dynamics. He advocates that once men and women learn to understand and respect each other's communication styles and emotional needs, they can strengthen their relationships, leading to more fulfilling partnerships. The following parts of his book offer practical advice on how to navigate these complex waters. Gray introduces concepts through relatable examples that might traditionally align with Martian, male, and Venusian, female, characteristics, yet he acknowledges that these roles aren't rigid. Some women may find that they relate more to the Martian examples, and some men may find greater resonance with the Venusian scenarios. This acknowledgement of role reversal is key to understanding that the principles discussed can apply universally, regardless of gender. Moreover, Gray advises that if a certain generalization does not resonate with a reader, they should simply move on. This guidance underscores an important aspect of relationship advice: not all suggestions or insights will align with every individual's experience. Each relationship is unique, and effective communication must be tailored to the specific dynamics of the partners involved. By approaching the topic with an open mind and a willingness to adapt strategies as needed, readers can extract the most value from the insights offered in Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, applying them in ways that best suit their personal relationship situations. In this audiobook summary, you'll learn: how to write a love letter to your partner. The 6 primary love needs of men and women. And why men are like rubber bands and women are like waves. Key idea 1. Men and women show love in different ways, and love thrives when we accept our differences. When we're in relationships, we sometimes expect our partners to act exactly like we do. But, of course, they don't. It can feel frustrating and confusing, as though our partners were from a different planet. This divergence in behavior and expectations is common in relationships and can often lead to misunderstandings and conflict. Recognizing and understanding these differences, however, can be the first step towards building a stronger, more resilient partnership. The author, John Gray, focuses on heterosexual relationships. The question he asks is this: how can a man and a woman alleviate tensions and build intimacy? His answer: they need to learn to respect one another's differences. This respect for each other's distinct ways of experiencing the world is crucial. It helps both partners feel valued and understood, rather than marginalized or misunderstood. The key message here is: men and women show love in different ways, and love thrives when we accept our differences. This concept of differing expressions of love forms the foundation of Gray's advice. It encourages couples to approach relationship challenges with empathy, leading to deeper mutual understanding and respect. Imagine that all of us come from different planets. As the title suggests, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Now imagine that Martians discovered Venusians through their telescopes and invented space travel to visit them. The Venusians welcomed the Martian visitors with open hearts. Love triumphed, and Martians and Venusians lived together in harmony, until, one day, they flew to Earth together and were hit by selective amnesia. Martians and Venusians completely forgot they were from different planets. And love was replaced by conflict. So what happened? Have you heard women saying that men just never listen? Why is that? Well, when a woman, a Venusian, feels overwhelmed, she gets relief from talking through her feelings. So she turns to her partner, hoping for an empathetic ear. She doesn't necessarily seek solutions, but rather understanding and validation of her emotions. A man, however, mistakenly believes his job is to solve the woman's problem. In return, he expects appreciation and love. What happens, however, is very different. The woman doesn't receive the support she was seeking, and the man ends up feeling rejected. So how do you avoid this? Well, as a man, you should simply listen to your partner and give her your undivided attention. Unlike Venusians, upset Martians prefer to withdraw to their caves when they have a problem. This tendency to retreat is often misunderstood. A consequence of this is that he may temporarily disengage from his relationship. He doesn't want his partner to worry, though. He simply wants to be left alone to process his thoughts and feelings. It can be hard for a woman to respect this need. After all, on Venus, you show somebody that you love them by offering ideas for improvement. But this type of unsolicited advice can trigger a man's latent insecurities. Still, Martians and Venusians can achieve harmony once they become accustomed to each other's methods of dealing with stress. In fact, when a man gets good at listening, he may even begin to emerge from his cave more often, eager to offer his partner extra support. This adaptability and willingness to meet each other's emotional styles are key to transcending the inherent differences and fostering a loving, supportive relationship. Key idea 2. Men and women empower one another when they understand how to talk effectively, and how to motivate their partners. Before Martians and Venusians came together, they lived through a simultaneous wave of depression. Times were rough on both planets, characterized by a pervasive sense of isolation and melancholy that enveloped their respective societies. But then a pivotal moment occurred. The Martians glimpsed the Venusians through a telescope. This glimpse was more than a mere observation. It symbolized a discovery of another world, a world full of possibilities and new beginnings. They received an invitation to visit, and finally felt needed. This sense of being needed was a powerful antidote to their despair. So the Martians came out of their depression, emerged from their caves, built a fleet of spaceships, and traveled to Venus. Anticipating the Martians' arrival, the Venusians felt cherished. Knowing they were eagerly awaited infused them with joy and purpose. Their depression lifted and they began preparing to host their celestial guests with open hearts and renewed spirits. Here on Earth, things are similar. Relationship dynamics often reflect these celestial metaphors, where the emotional needs of one can ignite the passion and purpose in another. When a man feels needed by his partner, he's motivated to be the best he can be. This motivation transcends mere self-interest. It is about fulfilling a role that is deeply valued by someone he cares for. He is no longer selfish. Instead, he acts out of true care, not for personal gain. On the other hand, a woman is motivated by care and validation. When she feels cherished by her partner, she has more love to give, and her capacity to nurture and support her relationship grows exponentially. The key message here is, men and women empower one another when they understand how to talk effectively and how to motivate their partners. This mutual empowerment is crucial for maintaining a healthy, vibrant relationship. But what happens if men and women fail to meet each other's needs? Well, they can lose the motivation to work on their relationship. For men, this often happens when they no longer feel trusted or essential, while women can feel depleted when they give support without receiving enough in return. A man may not give enough because he worries that his partner will disapprove. He fears rejection. In fact, he needs to listen to the woman and do small things that show how he cherishes her. By understanding and acting on this, a man can alleviate his fears and contribute positively to the relationship. The woman, on the other hand, can practice being more forgiving. When she shows appreciation for the efforts her partner is already making, it encourages him to contribute more, fostering a cycle of appreciation and goodwill. Men and women can also learn to understand each other's communication styles. For example, men can learn not to take hyperbolic expressions of feelings so literally. A statement like, "We never go out," may sound like an accusation or a disappointment, leading a man to respond defensively. However, interpreting this as a simple expression of desire to spend more time together can transform a potential conflict into an opportunity for connection. Women, for their part, can practice expressing appreciation for the ways in which their partners are fulfilling them. Understanding that a man's withdrawal isn't a sign of emotional abandonment but rather a temporary retreat can also help. In these moments, men can use reassuring phrases like, "I will be back," to bridge the emotional distance and affirm their ongoing commitment to the relationship. Key idea 3. Men and women experience different intimacy cycles that affect their abilities to give and receive love. Conflict between men and women can often be traced back to their inherently different, and natural, reactions to intimacy. These differences, which occur in cycles, can sometimes lead to misunderstandings and emotional distance if not properly managed. As we've learned, men sometimes need to pull away from their relationships to regain their sense of individuality. In contrast, women may instinctively respond to this distancing by trying to get closer, believing that more intimacy can resolve the perceived rift. However, by forcing intimacy in these moments, they may inadvertently undermine it, creating a cycle of push and pull that frustrates both parties. It's entirely normal for women to experience emotional lows. During these times, men may interpret their partner's sadness or quietness as a problem to be solved, and they might rush to fix it. However, this approach is often not what women need. Instead, they are usually looking for empathy, understanding, and emotional support rather than direct solutions to what men might perceive as the issue. The key message here is, men and women experience different intimacy cycles that affect their abilities to give and receive love. Understanding and respecting these differences can greatly enhance relationship dynamics. These feelings, of withdrawal for men and of fluctuation for women, can come about in cycles. For men, the intimacy cycle can be likened to a rubber band. He pulls away to regain his independence and then snaps back with a renewed appreciation for the relationship. After periods of closeness and intimacy, a man might feel a loss of self. By pulling away, he reconnects with his identity and personal boundaries, which is crucial for his mental well-being. During this phase of his intimacy cycle, a man might appear withdrawn or unresponsive. His partner may feel neglected or worry that their relationship is faltering. However, it's vital that women do not punish men for needing this space. Instead, supporting them by respecting their need for independence can foster healthier interactions when they return. When a man feels the need to pull away, effective communication is key. He should reassure his partner by explaining that he needs some time alone but will return ready to be fully engaged in the relationship. This assurance can help alleviate any anxiety or insecurity his partner may feel during his absence. Conversely, a woman's intimacy cycle is more like a wave. When she feels good about herself, she may be incredibly nurturing and generous, fully appreciating her partner. However, like a wave that reaches its peak, she will inevitably experience a downturn. This is when she might feel a dip in self-esteem, feeling empty and vulnerable, and in greater need of emotional support rather than solutions. Men might wrongly assume that they are to blame for these emotional downturns. However, it's crucial that they do not take these feelings personally or rush to offer solutions. Instead, the best support a man can offer is unconditional love and patience, allowing her space to work through her feelings while knowing she is supported. Most importantly, both women and men must acknowledge and respect their natural intimacy cycles. Suppressing these cycles can lead to various emotional struggles. Men may experience guilt, become passive, or overly dependent on their partner for emotional stability, whereas women might suppress both their negative and positive emotions, leading to further emotional distress. Embracing and understanding these cycles can lead to more empathetic and supportive relationships, reducing conflict and enhancing the mutual joy and love shared between partners. Key idea 4. Men and women have different emotional needs and score relationship points in different ways. At different times in our lives, we all need different kinds of love. But do we always recognize what sort our partner needs most? This question is central to navigating successful relationships, as it encourages awareness and sensitivity to the evolving emotional landscape that each partner inhabits. It's not just about giving love, it's about giving the right kind of love at the right time. Relationships become easier when couples understand each other's 6 primary love needs. The author offers a list that delineates these needs by gender, providing a framework for understanding how men and women may prioritize their emotional requirements differently. For men, these needs are trust, acceptance, appreciation, admiration, approval, and encouragement. Each of these facets contributes to their feeling valued and competent in their roles, both in relationships and in broader life contexts. Women, for their part, need caring, understanding, respect, devotion, validation, and reassurance. These needs speak to a desire for emotional security and affirmation, underscoring the importance of emotional depth and connection in their interactions. These primary love needs work together, each influencing and enhancing the others. Take caring and trust, for example. A woman needs a man to care about her feelings sincerely. When he shows genuine concern and empathy towards her emotional state, she feels that she can trust him. This trust is foundational, paving the way for deeper intimacy and stronger relational bonds. The key message here is, men and women have different emotional needs and score relationship points in different ways. Recognizing and respecting these differences can lead to more fulfilling and less contentious relationships. So how can couples ensure that they're meeting each other's needs? Men can start by practicing the art of listening. Instead of getting frustrated when they're unable to solve a woman's problems, they can remember that simply listening attentively helps a great deal. Active listening validates the woman's feelings and shows that her emotions are important, which in itself can be profoundly comforting. And a woman can learn to empower a man. This means accepting his imperfections and not trying to change him. Encouragement from a woman can bolster a man's confidence and self-esteem, fostering an environment where he feels secure and valued. Both men and women tend to keep score of how well their partners meet their emotional needs, but the score sheets couldn't look more different. Men often believe that they are best off doing one big thing, like paying for a lavish vacation, thinking that this grand gesture will accumulate enough points to satisfy their partner for a while. However, that's not how it works. Women actually rate little things just the same as big things. Consistent small expressions of love, such as helping out when they're tired, not always having to plan everything, or making thoughtful suggestions, can be just as significant as grand gestures. A woman can encourage her partner to keep offering her these little things by showing appreciation whenever he does so. This positive reinforcement helps him understand the value of these smaller, more frequent acts of love. For men, the main thing is to feel appreciated. Some ways to score points with a man include not criticizing him when he makes a mistake, not punishing him when he disappoints, and being happy to see him. These actions reassure him that he is valued beyond his actions and that his presence alone is a positive influence in his partner's life. Ultimately, it's all about showing love, but remembering that what each sex needs in love may be very different. By recognizing and adapting to these needs, couples can not only coexist but thrive, building a relationship that is as rewarding as it is enduring. Key Idea 5. When negative emotions arise, it's important to communicate lovingly, because arguments can ruin a relationship. We probably all know couples who argue all the time. We also know couples who appear quiet on the surface, though there's a lot of hidden stress and repressed feeling behind this facade. Both extremes can quash love. The dynamics of a relationship can often mask underlying issues, where constant arguing or stoic silence may indicate deeper problems. It's a reflection of how, in intimacy, our vulnerabilities are most exposed. We are both most open to being hurt and, paradoxically, to hurting. The closer we are to someone, the more easily we can hurt them, and the easier it is for them to hurt us. This heightened emotional state can make romantic partnerships incredibly challenging. Recognizing this, the author recommends avoiding arguments altogether. But how do you do that? Well, he suggests starting with root causes of arguments. Addressing these underlying issues directly can prevent many arguments before they even start. The key message here is, when negative emotions arise, it's important to communicate lovingly, because arguments can ruin a relationship. Arguments often escalate due to miscommunication or a lack of understanding, rather than from the initial issue itself. Men often initiate conflict by invalidating a woman's perspective. They may offer a flippant response to her concerns, like, "What's the big deal?" or "Don't worry so much." These dismissive reactions are not inherently malicious but can stem from feeling secretly criticized, rejected, unappreciated, or even infantilized, treated like a child. Men's defensive responses often trigger from a place of feeling undervalued or misunderstood. The antidote to this, and the way a woman can weaken a man's impulse to argue, is simply to make him feel accepted, admired, encouraged, and appreciated. Women, on the other hand, often start arguments by communicating disapproval. For them, the root cause can be feeling unsupported, judged, or unheard, minimized, as the author puts it. But women are less likely to argue when they feel cherished, reassured, respected, and, above all, heard. This understanding can help both partners navigate through conflicts more empathetically. Another way to stop an argument in its tracks is to write a love letter. Gray uses this term to describe a specific technique that helps release negative feelings that people may be covering up, and that promotes healing. This exercise encourages open and honest communication, which can lead to more effective conflict resolution. So how does it work? First, you write a love letter in which you convey your feelings in 5 sections: anger, sadness, fear, regret, and then love. Write a few sentences about each. You can use phrases like, "I feel frustrated," "I feel disappointed," and "I am sorry." This structure helps organize thoughts and emotions, making it easier to understand and communicate them. Then write what the author calls a response letter. It should describe the type of loving response you'd like to receive from your partner. Because our culture tends not to teach men how to respond to a woman's feelings, a response letter can be especially useful for men, it can help them understand what their partners need. This guidance can be invaluable for fostering compassion and empathy within the relationship. If you want to, you can share both letters with your partner. You don't have to do that, though. This technique can also help you find focus before you begin a discussion with them. Even if not shared, the act of writing these letters can be profoundly therapeutic. Love letters are the opposite of distraction from pain. They require you to reckon with it. So remember, you should only share these letters with compassion and good intentions. And, if you are the one receiving such letters, be sure that you make the writer feel safe and respected. This respectful exchange can profoundly transform how couples manage and resolve conflicts, ultimately strengthening their bond. Key Idea 6. Knowing how to ask for support will keep your love alive. Remember the Mars and Venus metaphor from the previous parts. This allegory highlights the different ways in which men and women tend to express and perceive support within relationships, illuminating the intrinsic differences in their communication styles. On Venus, the culture is built around mutual support. Everyone instinctively looks for ways to support one another. The more a Venusian loves someone, the more she wants to support that person. The motto on Venus is, "Love is never having to ask." This ethos emphasizes a proactive approach to caregiving, where needs are anticipated and met without the other party needing to make a direct request. Martians, on the other hand, don't automatically offer support, they need to be asked for it. This difference can lead to misunderstandings and frustrations, because if you don't time your request correctly, you can turn a man off. Martians are not wired to anticipate needs in the same way Venusians are. They often respond better to direct communication. Both men and women often fail to ask their partners for the help they need. However, women find requesting support more difficult than men, possibly because they are accustomed to the Venusian way of unspoken support and feel that asking outright diminishes the value of the assistance. The key message here is, knowing how to ask for support will keep your love alive. Effectively communicating your needs is crucial in nurturing the relationship's health and ensuring both partners feel valued and understood. The author offers women 3 steps to asking a man for support. First, start by asking him to do the little things he already does. Be brief and direct in your request, and afterward, show lots of appreciation. This acknowledgement not only reinforces positive behavior but also makes him feel valued and more inclined to help in the future. Then you can begin step 2, asking him to do things that are new to him. It's important to choose situations in which you'd appreciate support, but will feel comfortable if you don't get it. If he says no, simply say, "Okay." Men don't respond well to demands, they feel like you're already expecting them to fail. When men know they can refuse without provoking resentment, they're more likely to say yes later. After practicing steps 1 and 2, it's time for the 3rd step, assertive asking. Once you've made your request, remain silent. He may hem and haw, but don't explain yourself. This silence demonstrates your trust in his process of stretching, that is, considering your request. If he still says no, accept it graciously. He'll remember how understanding you were, and be more likely to meet your request next time. Finally, keep in mind that the more intimate we are with our partners, the more our repressed negative feelings can arise. In relationships, a paradox may occur. You feel safe with your partner, so your deepest fears and unresolved issues come to the surface. For example, let's say your partner is having a bad day and being extra critical. Normally, you'd be able to brush it off, but today you're taking it personally. It's triggering memories of how your parents used to criticize you when you were little. You may feel afraid or unsure of how to explain your reaction to your partner. In these cases, a therapist can be extremely helpful. And if you sense that your partner is dealing with past trauma, never tell him he's overreacting. Instead, Provide him with acceptance, tenderness, and unconditional support. This approach not only fosters a deeper connection but also enables both partners to feel secure and loved, despite their vulnerabilities. Final summary. Men and women have different emotional needs, which can significantly influence how they interact and communicate within a relationship. Men need to feel trusted and empowered. They often thrive when they sense that their partners have confidence in their capabilities and decision-making. This sense of trust bolsters their self-esteem and motivates them to engage more fully in the relationship and its challenges. On the other hand, women need to feel validated and cherished. They seek emotional connection and reassurance that their feelings and thoughts are understood and valued. This need for validation is not about agreeing on every point but about acknowledging and respecting each other's perspectives. When women feel cherished, they are more likely to feel secure in the relationship, which fosters openness and intimacy. When it comes to handling stress, the differences in needs can lead to distinct behaviors. Men often prefer to solve their problems alone. This inclination towards solitude can sometimes be misinterpreted as withdrawal or disinterest. However, it is usually a way for men to regroup and analyze the situation independently. They often feel that by stepping back and considering the problem in isolation, they can return to the relationship stronger and more prepared to address any issues. Women, conversely, often prefer to share their problems. Talking through issues and expressing feelings is a way for many women to process emotions and gain clarity. They often find comfort and relief in discussing their worries and challenges, seeking empathy rather than solutions. Given these differing approaches, couples should avoid arguing and instead strive to communicate lovingly. Effective communication involves recognizing and respecting these differences. It's essential for partners to listen actively and respond in ways that acknowledge the other's emotional needs and communication style. Love can truly blossom when men and women accept their differences and learn how to support one another in ways that are meaningful and affirming. This doesn't mean that one should forsake their own needs but rather find a balance where both partners feel supported, understood, and valued. Learning to navigate these differences with compassion and understanding can transform potential conflicts into opportunities for growth, thereby deepening the connection between partners. Thus, embracing and adapting to each other's emotional languages can not only prevent common misunderstandings but also enhance the emotional intimacy of the relationship. When both partners feel that their unique needs are met, they are more likely to work together harmoniously, supporting each other through challenges and celebrating successes together, thus enriching their shared life experience.